fresh in my mind. So, and there's no isekai people. It's just Naruto gaining powers of a Shinigami. Uh, but there's no hollows in where he's at because all the hollows. What was the island I wanted to call it again? The village of darkness. So the village of darkness is where all the hollows are at. Once they're her cars anyway, but the hollows don't really exist that much anyway. I mean, the ones that corrupted souls, they're still hollows. Don't get me wrong. You still have to fight to survive and stuff like that in the darkness village, but it's not as bad as it is in Waco Mundo, where the hollows have to eat each other. It's either you're born with special power or you're not. You don't eat each other. They learned from their past ancestors that they don't have to eat each other for to become powerful. So, and they're trying to get a peace treaty with the Leaf Village. So, I'll explain that at the tuning exam. So, I think I'm gonna let the old man live. I mean, there's a lot of them that people do that, but so anyways, I don't know if I'm gonna go to the physical abuse of Naruto, maybe verbal, and him getting kicked out of places. But his malnourishment will be fixed within a couple of middays. But him having not being able to go to the what was it called, the orphanage, that pissed off her Horizon as he killed the matron for doing that to a child, no less, and hired a new one. Thanks to his, thanks to my Horizon doesn't have is not weak, and he doesn't let the council walk all over him. But there are sometimes they do go under um, what's that word I'm looking for? Go under him and say or get word from somebody else, and then see this Horizon's smart and not as frail as everybody thinks he is. I'll explain why in a little bit. And that's the major part between the third Okage and getting reinstated. But I'll explain why he got his youth back and his power to be at his prime. So, and yes, Naruto's gonna be on it. Not gonna be here after the verbal and the not getting enough food. He almost dies. So I hope you guys can you're watching this without any complaints of my internet. I'm sorry about that. But anyways, yeah, as I was saying, um, all right, I think I gotta get out of here. But as I was saying, Naruto will be, what's that word I'm looking for? Not different, but he's not gonna be like his two main clansmen. He's gonna have the Kurosaki blood and the Namikaze and Uzumaki blood within him. He's gonna be Ichigo's descendant because of the Kurosaki blood running through his veins. So that way, Nar- so that way Naruto can wield Zangetsu again. Because Ichigo, when he died, he became the next Soul King and decided to change some things to make the world a better place. With him being in charge of the place, everything got better instead of worse. If Aizen would have took it in charge, he even made a Hoyoku the Hoyoku that Aizen had out of his chest and killed Aizen that way. Without the Hoyoku, Aizen doesn't have the power of being immortal anymore. And when Aizen was trying to dethrone Ichigo, that's when it happened. All of Aizen's power depleted and destroyed right before Ichigo. And he didn't even have his Zanbakuto to make things clear. Ichigo didn't lose his power, but he didn't need his Zanbakuto anymore. Because since he was after the Yuhak War, or Quincy War, he became this new Soul King. But he wasn't, what you call it, a sealed version of it, so he was a very good king to everybody. They didn't take his parts off of his body like they did to the other Soul King. And Ichigo's the one that sealed the Kyuubi inside Naruto, his only descendant, and gave him his sword because Ichigo doesn't need it right now because he's too powerful. But once his sword was inside Naruto, waiting to be unleashed to the world, Naruto actually got a lot better with his healing regeneration rate, not thanks to the Kyuubi only, but thanks to the inner hollow he has now, thanks to his negative feelings, but also his Zanbakuto managed to kill, or managed to make him fuse with his new wielder, so that way they can work together instead of against each other. Because Ichigo, he doesn't want to have the same thing going against him again, like he did with Ichigo. And he really did. This guy really did like Naruto with the hollow, at least better than Ichigo, because Ichigo didn't really talk to him. He only talked to the Quincy side, which ticked off the hollow a lot. But you can understand why, though, because the hollow was his true Zanbakuto. Anyways, Naruto goes to so as I explained everything so far, that's as far as I'm gonna go with everything. No more spoilers. I'm sorry. I'm terrible. I keep talking about my description, so that way you guys can see for yourselves on how well you want it to continue on. So, without further ado, let's get on with the story. Oh, and by the way, this starts after the second time he failed the exams. As Naruto had failed the exams for the second time, because of the stupid Bishin or clone jutsu, as we would say it in English. He couldn't do it for some reason. But nobody's taught him the right way how, or use Chakra Troll to help him out even further. And then all of a sudden, he hears something in his head and says, "It's alright, King. Don't worry about it. Come in your mindscape tonight and you'll be surprised." He didn't know where that voice came from. But in hindsight, he's been having weird dreams lately about being on sideways skyscrapers, and he always knew it's familiar for some reason, but he didn't know from where. So even the Soul King was surprised that his inner hollow was trying to communicate with him along with his Quincy side, since he knew that his Quincy powers were still there, but they weren't manifested like they were when Yuhak was alive. So when Ichigo found out Yuhak was still alive inside himself, but he wasn't a Quincy king. He was still, you know, the Shinigami king. Ichigo didn't question it. He didn't mind being the Shinigami king. So the Soul King or whatever you want to call him. And if they trust him well enough, maybe they didn't have to, you know, take his body parts away. So, moral of the story is, Naruto was running, crying, and seeing this made both Zambato happy because they weren't sad tears; they were happy tears. Somebody actually had believed in him, and it was inside his own mindscape or soulscape, but he doesn't know which one. But he didn't want to be left alone to those savages on the civilian council. So he didn't want people to be like, oh yeah, kid, you think you're all high and shit, blah blah blah. But there we go, first try. Anyways, so so yeah, I'm gonna say so. Naruto was happy that he could get some training done now, but he doesn't know where this sword's at. So he decided to talk to his Gigi, since his Zambato did trust the old man a lot more, since the old man, not the Zangetsu old man, but Naruto's grandfather figure was trusted. Even the Shinigami or the Quincy spirit, like, you trust that old man a lot more than you trust me. That's crazy in itself. Well, I'm not. I speak from experience about that one. And truth be told, he would be telling the truth because he was the one that's being suppressed by Ichigo's Quincy's powers, so that way he doesn't have to face off against himself or his representation of himself. But Zangetsu and Quincy Yuhawk were still training Naruto and stuff. Like, they promised to tell his Gigi about he'll be missing for quite some time. He didn't want his Gigi to freak out about his random disappearance. And he also told the ramen people that he's going to get some. He needs a diet made for him. And they had to be obliged cooking him other stuff other than ramen. And he was very grateful for that. He loved, he was loved by the ramen people. They were our only source of income ever since Naruto started coming there. Besides Kushina and his father, his mother and father were their main business. So after they both died, Naruto was the only one that left the void in or in people's pockets to help pay for their business. But when he said, I need some healthier stuff besides ramen, they thought the world was coming to an end, and he just said, no, I had a wake-up call just now. I just need to eat some stuff that's a lot more healthier, but I do get to have ramen on special occasions like today for a reason. One of my parents' bloodlines kicked in, and yes, I'm calling it a bloodline because it's actually sub-races in his blood. He's Shinigami Advisored and Quincy. Also, he has the other sub-race classes of a Fullbringer Advisored and a Rancor. I didn't want to get too much involved in the Rancor, but I think it would be pretty cool to see Ichigo's Vestalore form as controlled version of it, at least for Naruto to use, and the vast mask on his hollow or Shinigami powers. I'm not quite sure if I want to do this still yet, but I still think it'd be pretty cool if I did. So, Naruto told his Gigi everything, and told his Gigi everything that happened to him, and after um, some people got a little too what's that word? Not demanding, but too daring to attack him. And once they were trying to kill young Naruto, and Hokage figured out their plans, it went all downhill from there. Because the Hokage loved Naruto like his own grandson, Kohamaru. And Kohamaru that's another story for another day. But Kohamaru liked Naruto because when Naruto visited his Gigi, he would see Kohamaru a lot.